In this video, we'll learn about how the signals are transmitted from these peripheral chemoreceptors to the afferent nerve fibers like glossopharyngeal and vagus nerve. So this is a diagram which shows the structure of a peripheral chemoreceptor, aortic and carotid bodies. In this, there are two types of cells are there. These are the type 1 cell or the glomus cell, and these cells are the chemosensitive cells which detect changes in PO2, PCO2 and H ions concentration. And this cell consists of the vesicles which consist of neurotransmitters like ATP, then dopamine, acetylcholine. And these glomus cells or type 1 cells, they are surrounded by these type 2 cells which are also called as supporting or the sustentacular cells. And these cells are surrounded by capillaries. These are the fenestrated capillaries which are in close contact with the glomus cells, which are chemosensitive cells, so that any change in the blood in the capillaries can be sensed by these glomus cells. And these are the afferent nerve fibers of either vagus or the glossopharyngeal nerve. Then we'll learn how the signals are transmitted, and the change in PO2 or PCO2 or H ion is sensed by the glomus cells, and the signals are transmitted to the afferent nerve fibers which carry signals to the respiratory centers. So this is a capillary which consists of blood, and this is a glomus cells which sense changes in the PO2, PCO2 and H ion from the capillary blood. And this glomus cell or the type 1 cell, these are oxygen sensitive potassium channels is present on the membrane of this glomus cell, and these potassium channels, whenever the oxygen concentration is adequate, these potassium channels are open and there is a continuous efflux of the potassium outside the glomus cell. But whenever there is a decrease in PO2 in the capillary blood, these oxygen sensitive potassium channels, they are inhibited, and there is a no further efflux of potassium from the glomus cell, and the potassium it don't go outside the cell and it gets concentrated inside the glomus cells, which causes depolarization of the glomus cells. And because of that depolarization, these voltage sensitive calcium channels are also present on the membrane of glomus cells, and because of that depolarization, these voltage sensitive calcium channels are opened, and there is influx of the calcium inside the glomus cells, which causes release of the neurotransmitter from the vesicles which are present inside the glomus cells. And the neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, ATP, dopamine, they are released from glomus cells, and which act on the afferent fibers of the nerves like vagus or the glossopharyngeal nerves, and they carry the signals from these afferent nerve fibers, carry signals to the respiratory centers, and respiratory centers know what is the condition of the gases inside the blood capillary, and accordingly there is change in rate and the depth of the respiration. So that's all about the structure and mechanism of signal transmission from the peripheral chemoreceptor.